What is going on, everybody? This is your man, Big B. Welcome to Steelers Almighty Man post-game edition. Whoo! Let's just be honest. It was not pretty. It was not pretty. If we thought last week was bad, this week was worse, people. It was worse. We're going to get into all of that. It just wasn't a good showing by the Pittsburgh Steelers in any facet outside of the punting game. But we'll get into all of that. Again, man, as always, we appreciate everybody in here. Super chats are wide open. So if you guys want to control the conversation, you know how to do that. Send those bad boys in and you will get right to the front of the line. And your question, comment, rant will obviously be put up on screen. So remember that. Remember to like, follow, subscribe, all that good stuff, man. So let's get into this. So, yeah, this was bad, man. This one was bad. There's not a whole lot to say other than we got to get better, and we got to get better in a hurry. Now, it was a preseason game. I'll go ahead and say that. The frontline starters, especially on defense, they looked fine. Offense, it looked terrible. It looked terrible. And I'm going to start off. First of all, let's start off with the good stuff because we got a lot of bad stuff. Let's start off with some good stuff that we saw, people. Let's not just be so negative. First of all, Nick Herbig, again, with the sack, flashing on defense. I think the guy's in for a really good season, depending on how many snaps he can get during the year. Yeah, I think he's in to have a really good season for the Pittsburgh Steelers this year. I truly believe that. Nick Herbig showed up big. DeMarvin Leal played well again. Yeah, he did. I mean, chasing guys down from the backside again, causing havoc, getting in. Larry Ogunjobi played well. Larry O looked good, didn't he? He looked good. He's had a good camp after a bad year last year, and it was a bad year. He looked good. Again, like I said, the frontline guys, for the most part, for the Steelers, look good. I didn't like Payton Wilson getting hurt, but we'll go over some injuries a little bit later. But yeah, frontline defensive guys look good. Mark Robinson, he looked good. He looks like he solidified his place as an inside linebacker, as a backup. Made some tough made some tough stops in the run game tonight. I apologize, man. I thought we'd see a better effort. I just thought we would be better, and we were pathetic. But that was about it, man. P. Ryan ran hard. Edwards ran hard. But what are we talking about when it's the threes and the fours? You know, we applaud their effort. We absolutely do. But are we going to see that same type of stuff against frontline guys or number two line? Probably not. So, probably not. But bottom line is the Steelers just didn't look good. The Steelers didn't look good. I'll start by saying this. For the people out there, I just listen on NFL Network. Those people are absolutely idiots. If you think that the Pittsburgh Steelers, barring an injury, are going to have Justin Fields be the starter based on what you saw in the second half, not to mention he was in the game with number 4 offensive lineman. Do you think that's going to be the starter for the Pittsburgh Steelers? I mean, how dumb can you be? That is not the starter. If he had a chance to be the starter, he's not in the game with the number 4 offensive line. That's just not happening. I mean, come on, man. And again, it's not that I don't want him to have a chance to win the job. I'm just saying, if that's a guy you thought was going to win the job, you don't have him out there at the end of the game with your number 4 offensive line group. You just don't. You just don't. Period. End of story, man. That's just not what happens. But he was out there. But I tell you this, again, people that think that Justin Fields, he made it some outstanding plays. He could do some stuff that Russell Wilson can't do. But you know what I know Russell Wilson can do? hit a wide open guy for a touchdown on a post route. I know that. That's all I need to know. I know he can do that with a guy's 5 yards ahead of a guy, wide open. Russell Wilson can make that throw. Justin Fields couldn't make that throw tonight. And you could say, oh, it's just one throw. Aren't they all just one throw, man? Aren't they all? I mean, why do we have to wait and give you another opportunity? Who's to say, not to mention, did the Steelers get another opportunity like that? No. So you got to make the most of it when the opportunity arises. Justin Fields is going to be the backup. Unless, like I said, unless there's something else that none of us saw, we saw enough. We saw enough. So I just, whatever. Fields was fine for what he was out there with. He didn't really have that big of an opportunity, but he was fine. So I don't want people to think, oh, well, he's terrible. I mean, he's out there running against the 3s and the 4s. He wasn't even running up against the 2s. He was against the 3s and the 4s. 3 and 4 offensive linemen, 3 and 4 wide receivers. Guys literally couldn't get open. But the one time the guy was wide open, he couldn't make the play. He just couldn't make the throw. And again, if you're going to be a starting NFL quarterback, I mean, that was a layup. Like literally, it was that was the equivalent of a wide open dunk in the NBA or in basketball in general. And he missed it. So, yeah. But then he turned around and makes a crazy steps out of a sack, a crazy dart on the sideline. Incredible. Russell Wilson can't do that. But you know what? While that's spectacular, just give me the guy that can make the easy throw for touchdowns. I would rather have that. I would rather have that. So that's just me. That's just me, man. So I don't know. I was just and Russ tonight and put in the comments, can we even evaluate Russell Wilson? Like, can we just say what we saw from other than it looked like his arm was dead? He was late on some throws. Russ looked like his arm was dead. Didn't have a lot of legs into his throws. But I don't even know that you can evaluate him. I really don't. So I don't think there's any true way to evaluate Russell Wilson based on what we saw. But you know who we can evaluate? Broderick Jones. Now, here's the thing. Big B, which would be me, you're crazy. Big B, you're nuts. You have no idea what you're talking about. Big B, you don't know ball. Broderick Jones is just fine. You don't know ball. That's all I got. We made a video and I said, hey, man, is it possible that Broderick Jones, it can't beat out Dan Moore Jr.? I was called everything under the sun. An idiot. I don't know ball. Get off of YouTube. Shut up. You're not really a Steelers fan. Whatever you could think of, that's what I got called. Can we revisit that now? Is it okay to revisit that? Or do I still not know ball? And again, I didn't say that he couldn't beat out Dan Moore Jr. I just said, is it possible that he can't beat him out, which is why he hasn't taken over the left tackle job? Is it possible? Did you all watch it? If you watched the game at all, just the first 2 series of the game, I think we have to have a different conversation, don't we? Broderick Jones was awful. He wasn't bad. He was atrocious. He got manhandled at everything he was trying to do out there. Couldn't pass protect. Couldn't even set up a screen on the first drive, the third snap of the game. He gets beat so bad that his man makes a tackle on a screen play. He makes a sack on a screen. He couldn't block in the run game. He literally got tossed around like a rag doll. In the next series, I'm like, this guy, what is going on? And again, Here's the thing. No. I am not going to allow you to say this nonsense. I don't want to hear it. This is what people tried to say. He might be battling an injury. Here's the thing. If he's hurt, it's preseason. Sit out. How many guys have we seen sit out in preseason? If you're hurt, why are you trying to fight through that injury in the preseason? Somebody explain that to me. The guys don't fight through injuries in the preseason to play in a preseason game. I don't want to hear that. That is an excuse, and I'm not giving them an excuse. If you're hurt, and again, I'm not saying that he's not. I take that back. Yes, I am. Yes, I am saying he's not hurt. Because if he was hurt, there's no way that the Pittsburgh Steelers would put him out there if he can't block and he's not 100% in a preseason game. Why are you fighting through injuries to play in a preseason game? Stop the nonsense, people. Stop it. Don't give him an excuse. Don't. It's okay to say that he wasn't good. It's okay to say that he was bad. But don't give me, well, he's hurt and he's battling through an injury in the preseason? A guy won't play in the preseason for a hangnail. TJ Watt didn't play tonight because it was raining. It was raining, and he didn't play. Josh Allen didn't play because it was raining. These guys aren't hurt. It was just raining. It was raining. So they didn't play. I don't want to hear about Broderick Jones being hurt. I don't want to hear it. It's just an excuse. It's just an excuse. Not to mention, so let me get this straight. Broderick Jones is out there playing hurt. You got your starting quarterback out there taking punishment because this guy can't block? Because he might be hurt? What? No, come on, man. Y'all got to stop this. Again, it's okay to say it. Broderick Jones was awful. And it's also okay to say, can he beat out Dan Moore Jr.? Again, now I want to hear all the people tell me that I don't know ball after we just watched what we just watched from Broderick Jones. And don't give me, hey, you know what? Last week, Danielle Hunter, one of the best pass rushers in the league. Are you telling me that the Buffalo Bills have one of the best pass rushers in the league? No, they don't. Stop. No, they don't. So, and here we go with the excuses again. It's obvious he has no power in that punch. Then why is he out on the football field? Stop, man. Stop. I know everybody wants to be the smartest guy in the room. I know everybody wants to make excuses, and they think they know everything. There is a zero possibility that the Pittsburgh Steelers would put Broderick Jones out on the football field if he was hurt in a preseason game, if he couldn't protect. What does punch have to do with you getting thrown around like a rag doll? I mean, tell me that. A guy rushing off the edge and literally just knocking you out of the way, that means you have no base. What's that got to do with your elbow? Stop. He was awful. And can he beat out Broderick, or can he beat out Dan Moore? Maybe that's the reason why. I don't know. I know he looks like that he's regressed. That's what it looks like. And you could say, hey, it's just the preseason. It's not that big a deal. Guys just don't give up sacks in the preseason because they want to. Hey, man, it's the preseason. Who cares? It's not that big a deal. Yes, I'm getting tossed around out there. Not that big a deal. I mean, Lord have mercy. I don't understand. Can we? Oh, I don't get it. I don't get it. Let's go to some of these comments. Let's go to some of these. Let's go to see what some of these people said. Hold on. What's worse is ESPN will talk about the sacks being on QBs, but the O-line gave up a lot of pressure. I mean, At some point, we just got to say ESPN, NFL Network, whoever, you're not even watching the game. You're trying to come up with the storyline. Russell Wilson wasn't holding on to the ball. Pressure. I mean, he had nowhere to go with the football. Now, I mean, he didn't have time. You have to at least have time to hold on to the ball, don't you? But you're right. You're right. That'll be the storyline. Oh, Justin, for Russell Wilson, look, he's holding on to the ball. Hold on, man. He didn't even have 2 seconds. He didn't even get all the way back in his drop. Guys are in his face. What do you want him to do? The O-line was bad, man. The O-line was bad. And it's just easy to say that the O-line was bad. It's okay. It's okay. You know? I don't know what we're going to – I mean, again, hopefully it gets better. But I'm just not going to let anybody tell me that Broderick Jones is hurt. I'm not going to listen to that. Guys that are hurt don't play in the preseason. I mean, you didn't see Alex Highsmith out there, did you? Nope. You didn't see Dante Jackson out there, did you? Nope. I mean, if you're hurt, you don't play. It's just that simple. If you're hurt, you don't play. But here's the thing. Broderick Jones looked good in the joint practice that he had against Buffalo. He looked just fine. Nobody was screaming about him being hurt then. Nobody said, oh, he doesn't have a punch. It's obvious he doesn't have a punch. They said he dominated the practice. That's literally what everybody said. Broderick Jones looked the best that he looked all summer. He dominated the practice on Thursday. But he was hurt. Oh. Stop, people. It's okay to say he was bad, man. It's okay. Now, again, that doesn't mean he's going to be bad in the regular season. Or maybe it does. But I know what we're watching right now. Don't let just don't let ESPN, NFL, any football, anything. Don't let them tell you what your eyes are showing you. Don't let them lie to you. Don't do it. Don't do it. It's not worth it. We're smarter than that, Steelers fans. We're smarter than that. Man, was that awful. Couldn't even get to an offense. Now, I will say this, getting off of Broderick Jones, the entire offensive line couldn't run either. We couldn't run block. We couldn't do anything. And I'm talking about the first unit when I'm talking about that. Couldn't create any space. No running lanes. And look, I get what somebody's going to get on here and say, hey, it's vanilla. They're not doing a whole lot. I understand all that. But again, I said the same thing last week. When can we just, hey, you know what? We're going to line up. We're going to run front side. We're going to double team a guy. And we're just going to move him off the line of scrimmage, get up to the second level, and get 3-4 yards. Couldn't do it. Couldn't do it. You know? Just couldn't do it. All the other passing schemes and route trees and all, just go get open, man. I just need you to get off man coverage and go get open. Oh, if it's zone coverage, throttle down. See where the hole in the zone is and throttle down and get open for your quarterback. It was a bad look. So, it was a bad look. So, and it started up front. It didn't. And again, other than Russell Wilson's arm looked dead, you can't evaluate that guy. You can't say, oh, Russ looked bad. No, he didn't. You don't know what he looked like. He got sacked 3 times in 5 drives. Think about that. 3 times in 5 drives, this man gets sacked. You can't evaluate him. And before anybody, we already covered this. Please don't get on here talking about he held onto the ball too long. No, he didn't. No, he had no time in those sacks. No time. Just not a good, man. Not a good look. Not a good look. So, not a good look. But we'll see. We'll see. And people that are saying that Justin Fields is the guy, we covered this earlier. I'm sorry. I know if you just got in here, I'll say it again. There is no way that the Pittsburgh Steelers are going to have their a guy that they believe is the starting quarterback, or could be, at the end of this preseason game with the number 4 offensive line group. That's just not going to happen. This quarterback competition that we've been led to believe is a quarterback competition, it isn't. Because best you believe, there is no way that Russell Wilson would have been in at the end. If it was a competition and just say Justin Fields started this game, do you all really believe that Russell Wilson would have been in at the end of the game with the number 4 offensive line group? Stop it, man. Stop. No, he wouldn't. No, he wouldn't. So, it just no. No, no, no. Mm-mm-mm. Back to a more positive note, Cameron Johnston, our punter, isn't it refreshing that we have a punter that can actually kick the ball? A punter that's not as big as me, that can actually punt the football? Directional punt, sky punt, kick it with some distance, with some consistency. Isn't that just refreshing? That when we need the guy to get the ball out of there, hey, man, we need you to boom this one. He doesn't kick a 37-yard punt from the 20, and it's still, I mean, it's just refreshing. It's just refreshing. I did hear that they did say that the punter looked like Bill Burr. I did hear that. That was funny. That was funny. And to be honest, he does. He does. So, yeah, bad. Bad. I did like how Dean Lowry showed up a little bit. He got in, did some things early. I mean, when guys like that, if you're talking about late, look, it is what it is. But he got in, did some things early, played well. Loudermilk, again, not so much, getting pushed around. Somebody got into it with me, said Loudermilk was the better player. Let's just say Loudermilk is the better player. At what point is he going to play in a preseason game like he's the better player? Because in these 2 preseason games, he's played lousy. I mean, so there's that. There is that. We got to figure out some stuff, man. Again, we had no running game. None whatsoever. So, again, man, Steelers Almighty, fastest growing Steelers channel on YouTube, and that's all because of you guys, man. I appreciate you guys showing up here tonight and showing up like you always do. Not a good day for the Pittsburgh Steelers, man. Just not a good day. Again, as always, you want to super chats are wide open. That will get you up on the screen and to the front of the line. We're going to start going to some of your all statements here. So you want to make sure that yours gets up. You know what to do. Also, make sure you follow, like, comment, and subscribe if you haven't already to Steelers Almighty. We appreciate it. Whoo! Let's go to this right here. My man, Kevin. We're going to have to rely on our defense again this year. I mean, yeah. We're going to have to rely. I mean, if this is what it's going to look like. Now, again, think about last year. Last year, we thought after the 3rd preseason, hey, man, we're going to have a top 5 offense. And if you didn't think that, you're lying to yourself. I got fooled. You got fooled. We all got fooled. Hey, man, we got a top 5 offense. Shoot. And look what happened. So a lot of things can change when you start motioning and game planning, you know, and hiding things based on formation and position groups. All this stuff can change. All of it can change. And we're not doing any of that right now. So all of that can change. But having said all that, we got work to do, people. We got some work to do. But I wouldn't jump off the deep end yet, but we can still talk about what we saw. You know, like for instance, Broderick Jones, he looked pathetic. And there's just no ifs, ands, or buts about that. He was pathetic. Can he turn it around? Yes. The only thing that I'm saying is don't give me that he's hurt as an excuse. I'm not going to let you do that because if he was hurt, he wouldn't be playing. And there's no ifs, ands, or buts about that. Hurt guys don't play in preseason. Hurt guys don't play in preseason. So Mm-mm-mm. And no, we can't be too excited about what Justin Fields did. It was against the backups. I mean, I don't know why we would be excited about what we saw from Justin Fields anyway. I mean, what did he do that says, "Oh man, we should be excited"? Because as good as that throw that he made after he got out of a sack on the sideline to Des Fitzpatrick, that was as bad as him missing a guy that was wide open for a touchdown. As a matter of fact, that was worse because that's a throw that you and I could make. I mean, if we could throw the ball that far, what was it, 28 yards? Wide open guy? If you could throw a football 28 yards, you and I could have made that throw. He had no pressure, wide open, missed him. What would you rather have? Your quarterback be able to make that throw or to be able to make the spectacular throw on the sideline, stepping out of a sack? To me, I just want you to make the throw that's going to score some points. I mean, maybe I'm a simple guy, but that's all I want. The spectacular stuff is nice, but it didn't score us any points, did it? No. Kept a drive alive, but it didn't score us any points. Not to mention, he tried to play hero ball on 4th and 2 on the other end at the end of the third quarter. He was trying to play hero ball instead of just handing the football off on the zone read. If he hands the ball off, it's a walk-in touchdown. Instead, he keeps it. They were ready for it. Loses 7 yards. Are we excited about that, Justin Fields? No. Come on now. Look, our job as fans is to be honest. If we're not going to be anything, we have to be honest in what we see. Okay? We can disagree. Don't get me wrong. We can absolutely disagree. But we have to be honest with what we see. And what we saw, it was just okay. I'm not going to say Fields played bad. He didn't play bad. It was just okay. Yeah, Aaron. Herbig and Benton look great. They look great. They didn't look good. They look great, in my opinion. I thought they looked great. You know who didn't look great? Zach Frazier. Zach Frazier did not look great. If you guys were paying attention to the offensive line, Zach Frazier struggled with speed linebackers to try to cut him off on outside zone plays. That can't be the case. Middle linebackers beating him to the spot. That can't be what we want. That can't be it. He didn't look good. Look good in pass protection. I'll give him that. He did look good in pass protection. But run blocking, any outside zone, Zach Frazier was in trouble tonight. He was in trouble. Did not look good at all. Didn't look good at all. Got beat to the spot several different times. So, I don't know. It just wasn't a good look for the offensive line tonight. And you could tell that they were still trying to get something. Because even when they took out Isaac and they took out James Daniels, they still left Broderick and Dan Moore Jr. in there to try to, we got to get something going here. Dan Moore Jr. looked okay. Now, you want to talk about somebody he looked fine. He looked fine. Didn't give up pressure. Was good in the run game. He looked fine. So, I don't know, man. What else y'all got? What do we got? Now, this could be a good point here. It's a new offense, new personnel, new OC. It's going to take time to make some things happen. We've had a trash offense for years now. So post-Ben era is a hell of a hangover. Now that I 100% agree with. You're right. New offense, new guys, new everything. It's going to take a little bit. It is. But here's what I would say. As far as skill positions and all that kind of stuff, you're right. Learning each other's routes. Hey, if they see something, quarterbacks got to get used to wide receivers, all of that stuff. You're 1,000% right. Let me ask you this, though. At what offense does an offensive tackle get treated like he's a rag doll? Like, in what offense do you have to get used to for that not to happen? It's just mano y mano. I'm blocking you, and you treat me like I'm a rag doll. That doesn't have anything to do with an offensive system at all. Me being able to cut you off in the run game on an outside zone, that doesn't have anything to do with an offensive system. It's outside zone. My shade is head up or he's to the left. I got to block the middle linebacker. That's my job. I just got to cut you off or push you by. But I at least got to make contact with you. That doesn't have anything to do with the offensive system. So I'm with you that it's going to take time for other stuff, but some of this is just, can I block you? No. And it didn't look good. So I am with you, though. You are right. It's going to take some time to look better, and hopefully we don't suffer from, hey, we just can't get it figured out. Hopefully some of this is, you know what, when we start game planning, it's going to look a lot different. That's what I'm thinking. As a Steeler fan, that's what I'm going to believe. That's what I'm rooting for. Hey, once we start game planning some of this stuff, things are going to look a lot different. So while the games look like this, things are going to look different. That's my hope. That's what I'm rooting for. That's what I'm going to say. So that's what I'm going to say. My man Orlando, I really like Fitzpatrick. I know he only had a couple of catches this game and last game, but I think he has a lot of potential. I think he's got a shot to be the number 5 receiver. I think I would take Scotty Miller over him, but it just depends. First of all, a lot of it depends on Roman Wilson. He comes back healthy. Let's say he gets back into practice next week, which he's supposed to do. If he can get back into practice next week, okay, then let's see what he's got. Because you got Pickens, Jefferson, and then Roman Wilson's going to be there. And Calvin Austin's going to be there. Then who's the 5th guy? Is it Scotty Miller? Is it Fitzpatrick? I think Quez Watkins, he's not going to make the team. So who do you got? And they're not going to keep 6 wide receivers. That would be crazy talk. You don't need 6. So you can have a guy on the practice squad, but you definitely don't need 6 wide receivers. So we'll see. Heck, depending on the team, some teams only keep 4 because they know they got tight ends and backs that can do some of those things out of the slot, so they only keep 4. Now, I think the Steelers will have 5, but they won't have 6. So we'll see. We will see. Now, here's the thing. I hate to say it, but I don't think Payton is going to make it through the season without getting injured and sidelined. The guy's injury prone. Well, I mean, you could say he's injury prone, but he didn't get hurt the last 2 years at NC State. So there's that. And then he got a concussion. Is a concussion injury prone when a guy lands on your head? Is that injury prone? So I don't know. So, I mean, I guess you could say that. I mean, he got injured, but I get what you're saying. I would hope. Look, the injuries, I mean, this is why I don't like preseason football. Because guys get out there and want to do what they normally do and they get hurt. You saw how Jaylen Warren got hurt. He got hurt fighting for extra yards. That's how he got hurt. It's in the preseason. Guys can't shut it down. They just, hey, this is what I do. This is how I go. I know it's the preseason, but it doesn't matter to me, man. I'm a football player, and how I'm best is I'm going 100%. That's how he got hurt. And we know how hamstrings are. We know. We got to hope this one is something different. Shut him down till week 1. Don't let him do nothing else till week 1. There's no reason at this point. There's no reason. Payton Wilson, you're done till week 1, man. I know you got a concussion. You're right. Nothing until week 1. Matter of fact, you can't even practice till Wednesday of week 1. You're not doing anything, man. It's that time of year. It's that time of year. It's not like he's not going to make the team. It's not like Warren's not going to make the team. So, what else do we got? Let's see here. Seems teams will only keep 2 QBs because they can store one on the practice squad now and bring up. That's correct. That is correct. So you can bring them up on game day, which a lot of teams do based on what happened to San Francisco 2 years ago in the NFC Championship game. So you can keep them on the practice squad and then bring them up for game day if you want, so you can have 3 guys. So some do, some don't. We'll see. But what do you guys believe? Do you guys think that Justin Fields still has a chance to win this job? Because I don't think Justin Fields has a chance anymore. I think this competition is so far apart based on what we saw tonight. And I'm not talking about their play. That's not why I think it's so far apart. I think it's so far apart because Justin Fields was in at the end of the game with the 4th offensive lineman. I don't think there's any chance that he wins this job. I don't think apparently there was never a chance that he was going to win this job because Kyle Allen couldn't get out there and play at the end of the game. You needed to see Justin Fields out there? What? Tell me why. Like, why did you need to see that? It's not like Justin Fields hasn't played 3 years of NFL football as a starter. He doesn't need the experience in a backup job. I'm just saying, people. I'm just saying. Sometimes they tell us without telling us. Sometimes they tell you what's going on without telling you what's going on. Sometimes we just got to read between the lines. Justin Fields not winning this starting job. I'm not saying that he can't be the starter later on, but for week 1, this is over. This is Russell Wilson's job. It's his. So, now this is funny. What's Coach T's challenge record? I mean, was it? So he doesn't challenge last week when it was obvious it was a catch. And then he does challenge this week when it was obvious that it wasn't. I'm just like, oh my gosh. Well, I mean, whoever is his guy in the booth that's looking at this stuff, he needs to be fired. Not only does he need to be fired, any money that the Pittsburgh Steelers have given that guy, he's got to give it back. Lord have mercy. Come on, Tomlin. The hell is going on? Oh, Lord. And you're right, Broderick. If he didn't challenge, he'd be talked about. I don't think he would. Not on that one. There was no need to challenge. It wasn't even close. Oh, he challenges it for no reason. For no reason. What else do we got, man? So, that's an interesting take. If there's no competition, why didn't Allen get any snaps? I don't know. But let me just ask you this, and I said this earlier. If Justin Fields started this game, do you think Russell Wilson would have been at the end of the game with the number 4 offensive line? Do you think there would have been? Absolutely not. Stop. There ain't no way Russell Wilson would have been at the end of the game of preseason game number 2 with the 4th string offensive line trying to score a touchdown at the end of the game. That wouldn't have happened. So, no, there's no competition at this point. Regardless of what they keep telling us, they did tell us. They told us tonight. They told us. They just didn't come out and say it. But you know what? What's the old saying? You can show me better than you can tell me. I've been saying that to my wife for years about certain things that'll remain nameless. You can show me better than you can tell me. Steelers showed us. You know what I'm saying? They showed us. And it is what it is. It is what it is. But I don't know. I'm just bottom line, this was a bad showing, but it's still just the preseason. I said it last week, and I'll say it again. Don't jump into the Allegheny River just yet, people. Don't do it just yet. It's still the preseason. And again, we can sit back and we can say, you know what? It's the preseason, but we can still talk about what we see and whether it looked good or not. We can still do that. And that's why we're here. That's why Steelers Almighty is a channel by fans for fans. We can say it's preseason, man, and we still got a lot to work on, but we can also say, hey, that was awful. And what certain people did and the whole team, it was awful. We can do that. It's okay to do that. Hey, by the way, man, if you guys are ready, the channel, the rant phone number is alive and well. The number is 412-444-8390. Again, 412-444-8390. That is our Steelers Almighty rant line. You can call in. Again, leave your name, email, YouTube username, and where you're calling from. Leave all that good stuff there, man. And again, on our Wednesday podcast, we're going to cipher through all of those voicemails. Whichever one is the best. We might do 2. We might do 3. We may only do 1. Depends on how many we get and how many we can use. But leave whatever you want to say, all that good stuff, and then I will respond to it. Play it on the actual podcast, and then I'll respond to it. So make sure you got that number. Again, it's 412-444-8390, people. Really looking forward to hearing from you guys, man. I am looking forward to hearing from you guys. Because like I said, we built this channel for us. I have told you before, I am not a journalist. I don't want to be a journalist, and I am not trying to be a journalist. That is not me. I'm just a guy that I played some football in college. I've been around football my whole life. I've loved the Steelers my whole life. And I thought it was important that we get somebody out there that isn't going to clickbait you to death with nonsense. We're just going to get in here and talk football. We don't have to agree. And you guys are, for the most part, most of you, when we get in here, we're not being disrespectful. We're just in here talking. But we don't have to agree. We don't have to agree on anything, actually. And it's kind of better when we don't agree. It's better. But I'm going to tell you if I don't agree. That doesn't mean we're going to be disrespectful. It just means it is what it is, man. It is what it is. So it is what it is. But we'll get it done. Like I said, man, I think what the Steelers put out on the field tonight was bad from the first unit. I think the second unit did a little bit better. It's tough for us to grade 3s and 4s. I mean, they couldn't the 3s and 4s defense couldn't stop the run. I know that. And, Buffalo just decided we're just going to run the football. And they pretty much did, ran it right down our throat and then kicked field goals. So it was that. We just got to get better. So let's see. We got some stuff wide open. Let me go to some more comments here, man. Do. Yo, 2 Watcher. He's my man. Me and him don't agree on a lot, but he's honest. He keeps me honest. I keep him honest. I appreciate you, Mr. B. Nobody is as active as you with the chat. Hey, man, that's my thing. Again, we made the channel for you. That's what we made it for. That's what we made it for. Is for fans, by fans. I am a fan. I am a Steelers fan, a fanatic, and have been my whole life. It's been rough in my house, though, because my wife is a diehard Chiefs fan, so it is what it is. My man, Broderick, again. Our O-line is where I thought we would be. Fear, yeah. I mean, look, our O-line's got to get better. I just believe that the offensive scheme is going to help the offensive line. I believe that our offensive scheme is going to help. And what I mean by that is the imagination of Arthur Smith, a lot of the disguising, the motion, play action, disguising what we're going to do based on a personnel group or formation, getting out of tendencies. I think all of that stuff is going to help the Steelers' offensive line. And it has to. That's what you're supposed to do. You got to help your offense because, look, the defensive guys are all better athletes. They are. They're all better athletes. The offense has an advantage because, number one, they know what they're doing. They know where the ball's going. And you just can disguise a lot of things. So I think that will help. I just don't think we should jump off the bridge just yet. So I don't think so. Not yet, man. Not yet. Here we go. We got our first super chat of the evening, people. Not panicking at all. Nervous about number 77, though. This chat is therapy. Capricorn Steel is live with the super chats. We love you, my man. We appreciate you. Thank you. I'm nervous about number 77, too, man. I went into the season saying he was the best offensive lineman we had in the preseason. You can easily say of the 5 starters that he has been the worst. And I don't even think, actually, if you take Troy Fautanu and Nate Herbig, out of the 7 guys, he's been the worst. Hell, you could even throw Spencer Anderson in there and say that he's been better. So, yeah, man. I'm worried about him too. But again, man, we appreciate you, Capricorn Steel. We got the chat here. I love you guys for being a part of it. Thank you very much. So, where is my terrible towel? I got a terrible towel. It's in the back. I guess it's on the other side. Let me grab it. Hold on. Yeah, I got a terrible towel. I am a Steelers fanatic, people. Okay? I'm that guy. I am that guy. So I don't want y'all to think, oh, man, this guy does other podcasts. He's not a Steelers fan. Yeah, I'm a Steelers fan, people. I'm a diehard Steelers fan. I have been my whole life, and I don't even know why. My dad wasn't a Steelers fan. My brother wasn't a Steelers fan. But there I was. There's a picture of me when I'm 2 years old with Steelers gear on. It is what it is. Nobody in my family is a Steelers fan. I must have said, well, you know what it is. It's the same way for you guys, man. That's why we named this channel Steelers Almighty, because God reached out and touched us Steeler fans, man. He touched us. He's like, you're going to be a Steelers fan. You're going to be a Steelers fan. It's a burden being a Steelers fan. God doesn't touch everybody. We're privileged. It's a burden, but we're privileged. But that's why it's called Steelers Almighty. Literally. God touched Steelers fans. We're great. We're the greatest fans in the world. What else we got, man? What else we got? Nah, there's going to be a lot of play action. We didn't see a lot of play action tonight, but there's going to be a lot of play action. A lot of play action, a lot of bootleg. Just think Ryan Tannehill, 2020. Think Ryan Tannehill, 2019. Just think that. We're going to see that. We're going to see a lot of that. People. So we are going to see it. So been a diehard since 1978. Yeah, I have too, Capricorn Steel. I'm 48 years old. And that was right around the time that I started recognizing, hey, these Steelers aren't so bad. I like them. Yes, sir. I'm right there with you. Good question right here. Are the Steelers mishandling Broderick Jones the way they did Kevin Dotson? The answer to that, 1,000% yes. Yes. Everybody thought Kevin Dotson wasn't any good. He only goes to the Rams and he's the best guard in football last year. Now, granted, that was PFF grades, which you know how I feel about PFF grades. They can be a tool, but they are not the end-all, be-all of any of that. I'm just not into. I know what I see, and I trust my eyes better than I trust nerds watching football. So that's just me. I trust my eyes more. And if you guys ever have any question about, hey, just come into Steelers Almighty, come to a podcast, come to a live, and we'll talk about it. And we're going to trust our eyes more than we trust PFF nerds. It's a tool, and don't get me wrong, some of it is okay. But, yeah. But Dotson was good. We mismanaged him. And he went out and played good last year. He did. He played good. They're doing the same thing to Broderick Jones. Don't tell me Broderick Jones is your starting left tackle, and just because Dan Moore Jr. can't play right tackle, that you're going to put Broderick Jones on the right side. Don't. I don't want to hear that. I don't want. Can you imagine? And I brought this up in another live. Can you imagine that Jonathan Ogden was the Ravens? To me, I think Jonathan Ogden is the best left tackle to ever play football. That's just my personal opinion. Can you imagine if they said to him, hey, man, I know you're a great left tackle, but because the guy that's your backup can't play right tackle, we got to move you to the right side. Can you imagine that? And that's what they're saying to Broderick Jones. Hey, I know that you're the best left tackle we got, but because your backup can't play right tackle, we need you to play right tackle, and we're going to put him at left. I mean, does that even sound logical? Oh, by the way, I know you're getting embarrassed playing right tackle right now. Oh, my God. It's disgusting. Yes, they're mismanaging him. Yes. And why they're doing it, I just don't know. So, I just don't know. My man Donald, the O-line needs work. Yeah, man. They need work. But again, I think some in-game stuff that we're just not doing right now, some game plan stuff is going to help us. I think all that's going to help us. And we'll get into weeds on that. I'm trying to get a guy in to be on the podcast. You probably heard him, Derek Brown, Mr. DB Steelers. I'm trying to get him to be on one of the podcasts. We're going to break down some Arthur Smith offense and get into the weeds a little bit with it. And, that kind of stuff. I think that's going to help what the Steelers are doing. But to recap, before we shut this thing down, man, again, Broderick Jones was absolutely awful. Herbig, Leal, and Lario flashed. Those guys played good. Again, they played great again. They played great. I'm really proud of DeMarvin Leal. I'm really proud of him. Because, again, he was a guy that I didn't think was going to make the team. And he's showing, you know what? Not only can I play inside, if you need a fourth outside linebacker in a rotational situation, I can be that guy too. Love it. I love it. He's versatile. I love it. So, but yeah, I think they played good. Our punting situation looks like it's in great hands. Not good hands, in great hands finally, that we got rid of our 300-pound punter. We don't have a guy that can't get his foot above his waist that's punting the football. And I know y'all are going to make fun of me and be mad. Brian, you can't punt either. You know what? I'm not trying to punt for the Pittsburgh Steelers. Okay? Our punter doesn't need to be as big as me. Okay, I mean, I'm just saying. We didn't have a run game tonight. I thought Dean Lowry played good. I think Marcus Robinson played great. Patrick Queen got out there and did his thing. Him and Erod. Even Wilson did good. Even they both did. They played well. Even before Wilson got hurt. I thought the linebackers did great. They were fine. Our defense was fine. And to break it all down or to end it, look, Justin Fields, he's the backup. I think that the Pittsburgh Steelers told us more than they could tell us. They told us without telling us, I guess I should say, that Fields is the backup. There ain't just your starting quarterback or a guy that you believe can be your starting quarterback is just not in at the end of the game with the fourth string offensive line. That's just not going to happen. That's just not going to happen. You know what I'm saying? You've never seen that before. Barring injury, you have never seen a guy that you think is going to be your starting quarterback or is at least in the competition for it. You've never seen that guy at the end of a preseason game with the number 4s. You just haven't. So I think the Steelers said a lot without saying anything. And that's okay. For me, that's okay. Now we have some clarity. We got clarity, and we don't need to have any more talk about Justin Fields winning this job. I don't want to hear, if Mike Tomlin says it, he's lying. He's flat out lying. And again, all this is barring injury. And it's not that I thought Russell Wilson played great. I didn't think he had a chance to play good. And I don't even think Justin Fields had a chance either because, again, when you're out there with the 3s and the 4s, you don't have a chance. So that's all I'm saying, man. That's all. My man Kevin said, bring Ben back. No. We saw what Ben looked like at the end. That we don't need that guy back. So, hey, man, I want to appreciate you guys or tell you that I appreciate you guys again, man. Thank you guys for showing up as always and showing out like you always do. I 1,000% appreciate you guys, man. So we're still working on our schedule during the season. We'll figure all that out here in the coming weeks. Me and my partner that does all the graphics. So when you all see all the graphics, man, it's not me doing it. I got a partner that puts all this stuff together that is absolutely phenomenal at what he does, man. He takes a lot of pride in putting this together. He's behind the scenes. I'm in front of the camera. Steelers Almighty, again, fastest growing Steelers channel on YouTube right now. We continue to grow each and every day. It's all because of you guys, man. I couldn't do it, wouldn't do it if it wasn't for you guys. So I appreciate it. I want to get to this one last comment before we break this down, man. I hope that Arthur Smith is holding back the offense. The offense is going to the open bag of whoop butt when regular season begins. I mean, they have not used wide receiver 1 hardly at all. I think you're going to see a lot of that, Broderick. Like I said, we can talk about what we saw. It didn't look good. Let's just not jump in the Allegheny River just yet, people. Let's not do it yet. So I appreciate you guys, man. Again, thank you guys for showing up and showing out like you always do. We will be back. I think we'll probably jump and do a live on Monday evening. So if you guys get a chance, be around on Monday evening. We'll jump into a live. We'll get all that good stuff going, man. I might even just do a prompt 2-1 tomorrow. We'll see. I'm not sure yet. Tomorrow morning, we'll see and see if we need to talk about this some more. But either way, if I don't get you tomorrow, I will definitely get to you guys on Monday. We appreciate it. Thank you, guys. I love you, and aloha.